Did y'all sign the paper last week? Which one? You wasn't here, so you signed it this week. I wasn't here.
Okay,
You signed it this week too.
So since he's already went there, we have a limo bus that's taking everybody to church. And I will be, between myself and Stefan, we'll be calling everybody to let you know where you're going to be picked up at. The bus is going to start its route at 9 o'clock in the morning. Service starts at 10:30. It should be over by 11:30, quarter to 12. And then the bus will take you back home. Also, after church is over with, you got home and relaxed, we get together with some of the fellas every other Sunday for dinner and some study. Okay, so Sunday is our time to get together for dinner and study. So we're going to cook some ribs outside, some chicken, and some other stuff. So if anybody that's going on the bus with us, when it comes back, it's going to be held in my house. If you need a ride, then we'll make sure that either Stefan or Eddie comes and gives you a ride. All right? But that's all on Easter Sunday. The food will be off the chain. The study will be more off the chain. Okay? Right, Stefan?
Yep.
We talked about all kind of good stuff. Also, don't forget, our other study starts April 6th. That's on a Wednesday. We'll be going together every Wednesday. Come to you like the ladies in my Bible say, I'm trying to talk to them. Every Wednesday, 7 to 9, starting April 6th. Yeah, phone number. We're going to call you probably 10 minutes before the bus gets there, so you won't be waiting on the corner. So if you live in Langfield area, the bus is going to be here. The bus is going to be a stop at Kensington and Bailey. There's going to be a stop at Art and Bailey. There's going to be a stop at Century and Kensington. Is it? Century and Kensington? So there's a lot of stops in this area. Okay? Because of the size of the bus, it won't be going down side streets, so we'll just have spots to pick you up at. Again, the bus will pick you up and drop you back off also. And there'll be breakfast on the bus. Okay? And the pastor, he spoke last week. He's driving to Pennsylvania. For some strange reason, you know, he's in love with Krispy Kreme, so he's driving to Pennsylvania, and he ordered 100 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. And this church, you know, you able to stop, when you get in, you're able to get coffee and donuts, and then we'll sit down and enjoy the service. All right? So, please, 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 if you come in, put your name down, because I want to make sure we get the bus full. All right? And this is a part of what Pastor Breck's vision is, to help reach the guys that we work with. Okay? So if you're not coming, sign up. I guarantee you'll love it. Also, Bob, what is the date for the breakfast?
April 9th for the Call to Courage breakfast.
Call to Courage breakfast. What Buffalo Bill's gonna be there?
Mario Williams, I believe.
You said Mario Williams?
Williams.
Yeah. They might have run of that.
But the breakfast, there's normally 2,000–3,000 people there. The breakfast normally costs $40 a person. Bob is able to secure 20 tickets. And more if we need some. So Bob's biggest concern is making sure the breakfast starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, making sure that you guys get up, so we get all these extra tickets. You say you want to go, but make sure that you come. All right? So that's really important. Also, April 28th, you're going to hear a whole bunch about that this coming weeks. This is a lot of you guys in this picture. We're having our breakfast. Remember that? Also, fellas, here's something really important that I really feel we need to be doing. I need you guys, if you can be there, I need you guys to serve. Help serve?
See that one right here?
Okay. We need you guys to help serve. Also, Wanda came up with a really good idea. Bob, I don't know if we can do it or not. Okay. But she's talking about getting some T-shirts with those pictures on. So everybody that's with us is going to have, you know, a picture of who we are on your T-shirt. And we got a lot of great people coming out to this. Y'all listening? Let's pull that thing back. We got a lot of great people coming out for this breakfast. Okay, remember, I'm trying to get them to see what we see when we look at you, and our study is to get you to see what we see when we look at you. All right? So do me a favor, stand up. This Rod Watson, he's from the Buffalo News. Maybe, just maybe, he will write up an article about how great you guys are. Can everybody stand up, please? Rod, do me a favor. I want you to look, because this is what greatness looks like before it becomes great. Okay? And so we're working on getting there. All right? So, Bob, are you going to introduce him, or did I? Y'all can sit up now. He's one to get a good look at
I just spent 5 weeks in Arizona that blew me away, some of the people I met. I met a lady that went to heaven and came back. She's in a horrible car accident, and her body was so messed up, they kept her alive for 3 days while they tried to keep her organs alive so they could donate the organs. They wrote her off. And she wrote a book about it. Her sister prayed her back. It was an unbelievable story. She talks about what heaven is like. It blew me away. I read a story in a magazine called Climbing for Christ about a man in Africa, in Malawi, that had his house cleaned by some ladies. And what cleaning means in his house, they took fresh soil and they put it on the holes in his dirt floor. That's what cleaning his house was. That's how he lives. He trusted them. The lady in Arizona that went to heaven, she trusted Jesus and trusted the people around her. I met some missionaries from Cambodia that just came back, and they said that cell phones are one of the worst things that can happen in Cambodia, because now they're getting young girls and young boys and doing sex trafficking because of the cell phones, and people are disappearing from their orphanage. The kids build up a trust with those people. So building up a trust is what it's all about. I trust Rod Watson. I've known him for probably 10 years, and I've had Christy Tyson was one of our speakers. She came through his program. She came through our program. He's gone into schools to speak for me because a young girl spoke these words. She says, my dream is to be a newspaper reporter. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to try and make that come true by introducing you to a newspaper reporter. He went inside a Buffalo school. He took the time out of his schedule and goes and helps people. Some things, you see people in a paper, you don't know about them, but this is a guy, I call him the heart farmer. Because his words that he writes, they're like seeds that grow in other people's hearts because he's got compassion. This is my friend Rod Watson.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, what's going on?
Pastor Bob told me you guys want to eat, so I only have 9 minutes, so don't worry about it. I probably won't even use the whole 9 minutes. Like Bob told you, I'm a writer for the Buffalo News. One of the reasons I became a writer is so I wouldn't have to talk, so I probably won't even use the whole 9 minutes. But in a sense, that's kind of what I want to talk about. I know you've had a lot of other speakers before you come through and shared their secrets of success with you guys. And the idea being that you can learn from what they did and make successes out of your lives. But I'm going to tell you just the opposite. Don't do what I did. Do what you do. I watched you guys out on the court. You've got skills that I've never had and will never have. When Bob told me that you guys play basketball, it took me back to when I was a teenager. I tried to play basketball. I even put a hoop up in my yard. And physically, I could play. I could dribble, I could shoot, I could pass as well as all the other guys. But I couldn't play basketball because something was missing. You think about basketball. Basketball is a lot like life. Basketball is a social game. You may not even be aware of it, but think about all the decisions you're making out there when you play basketball. If I set the pick for this guy, is he going to come back and set a pick for me later on? If I pass it to him, is he going to pass it back to me? He's got the hot hand. Should I keep feeding him and go rebound? But I haven't shot in a long time. I want to shoot. Which decision should I make? Which decision is best for me? Which decision is best for the team? Basketball is a social endeavor. It's about the team. It's about the interactions with all those other people. And I was never comfortable making those kinds of decisions with other people, so I just gravitated toward individual things, individual sports. I just went off and did my thing where I wouldn't have to make those kinds of decisions. And I've had some success in life. It worked for me. I made it work for me. But honestly, I could probably be a lot higher up the ladder than I am if I had those social skills that you guys are practicing out on the court every single day. Because the work site demands those social skills. You can only go so far without it. I'm that person who just does his own thing and keeps going. But I could be a lot. I look behind the glass wall in the offices with the big wigs in my office, and I recognize that I could be doing that. I'm as smart as they are. I'm a better writer than they are. I'm a better editor than they are. But the reality is, no, I couldn't do that because I never developed those social skills to work with other people. So you guys are already a step ahead of where I was when I came out. And you know, people are beginning to realize the work site, whether it's an office, whether it's a factory, it's all about relationships, it's all about team building, it's all about working as a team. And even schools are beginning to realize that now. When I went to school, it was all about sit at your desk, read your book, take your test, get your A, and go on about your business. But that's not how school is anymore. Schools are transitioning. Kids work on group projects, and everybody gets the same grade based on how well that group, how well they interacted to put that project together. Because that's the way real life is. That's the way the work world is. The schools are realizing that. The psychologists are even realizing that now. You know, you all heard of IQ. That's supposed to be your intelligence. Psychologists back in the 80s began discovering that that's only one. It's probably not even the most important one. There are multiple intelligences. And one of the key ones is what they call interpersonal intelligence. How you relate to other people. How you interact with other people. That's one of the key intelligences the psychologists have realized. And that's the intelligence that you guys are honing out there on that court every single day. Every time you're out there playing ball, making all those decisions that you may even be making them unconsciously. You're not even aware you're making those decisions. But when you're making them, you're honing a skill that can take you any place in life, because those are the skills that the workforce demands, no matter what field you go into. So keep doing what you're doing out there, and it's going to take you far in life. But there's one other reason that basketball is important. Think about it for a second. You stand on the baseline, it's way down at the other end of the court. Your goal is to put that ball through that hoop as quickly and efficiently as possible. When you think about it in that context, dribbling's pretty silly. Why don't you just put the ball under your arm, put your shoulder out, run through everybody, and go down there and dunk the ball. Now, in some situations, you get praised for that. If you were playing football. But you're not, you're playing basketball. Football has its own set of rules. Basketball has its own set of rules. And as silly as dribbling might seem, that's the rule. And that's the way life is too. Life is a bunch of different games. And you got to recognize which rules apply to which game. Which game are you playing at a particular time? If you're hanging in the neighborhood, you may dress a certain way. You may talk a certain way. You may carry yourself a certain way. That's okay for that game. The rules of that game say that's fine. Then you need a job, you want to go on a job interview. You need a car, you go out to the bank to apply for a loan. You just want to take your girlfriend out to a nice restaurant or a nice business, maybe in the suburbs or someplace. You got to recognize then you're playing a different game, and a different set of rules apply. So the way you talk, the way you dress, one game may not work in the other game. Just like running with the ball may work in football, but it doesn't work in basketball. There's two different sets of rules. So you got to be smart enough to know which game you're playing at which time, and which rules you have to apply. I know some of you probably thinking, well, no, I'm going to be me all the time. Otherwise, I'm being a sellout. Go back to basketball again. And you think about how to get the ball down the court. Does dribbling make you a sellout? As silly as dribbling is, it's not the most effective way to get the ball down the court. But you start dribbling because that's what that game demands. It doesn't make you a sellout. It makes you smart. It makes you strategic. You strategize about what you have to do to succeed in this game. And that's what you have to do with the rest of your life as well. When you think about how you present yourself in different situations, you have to be smart enough to strategize about what does this situation demand? What are the rules for this situation? And how do I adapt the social skills I developed out on the court in order to make myself a success in this situation, that situation, or whatever the situation may be. Just like every game has its rule, every situation in life has its rules too. You may not like the rules. You may think the rules need changing. In order to change the game, you first got to be in the game. And that means you have to understand the rules. The person who changed the game more than anybody I know in my lifetime understood that. You look at those old pictures of Martin Luther King Jr., even when police dogs were on him, they would beat him over the head. He still had on a shirt and tie. He spoke the King's English better than the King did. Because he knew those were the rules that applied. If he wanted to change the game, he had to play by those rules and get in the game in order to change the game. And that's what you have to do too. I mean, this silly piece of cloth, it doesn't make me a better writer. It doesn't make me a better editor. But it's just part of the rules of the game. it makes people look at me differently when I go to interview. And I understand that. I'm smart enough to strategize and understand that. So I put this silly piece of cloth on every day, because that's part of the rules of that game that I have to play. If you want to be successful, you have to know what which game you're playing at which time, and what the rules are. Can you do that? We change the whole world. None of us probably gonna do that kind of change. But with the social skills that you're developing out there, the interpersonal intelligence that you're developing out there, you have the skills to change what's going on around you. You can change your life. You can change the life of people around you. And if each one of you uses those skills that you've already got, the skills that I never had, I wish I had, but you've already developing now out there, each one of you uses those skills and you make that little change here, there, and everywhere. Pretty soon the whole neighborhood is going to change. Buffalo is going to change, and you're going to change as well. And you're going to lift up Buffalo on your back. Just like you talked about the greatness that you have in India, it's just waiting to blossom. As long as you keep using those interpersonal skills that you develop out there, recognizing which game you're playing at which time, and how you apply those skills to that particular game. And you can do anything you want to do. You do a lot better than I had, because you got those interpersonal intelligences that I never had. And I wish I had them. And I envy you guys. So just, all I ask of you is, don't waste it. I appreciate your time.
Excellent. Now, you can't leave, you gotta eat with the fellas.
Okay.
All right. Stefan is gonna bless the food. And pray for our speaker also.
Rod.
Rod.
Rod, R-O-D.
Everybody by your hand. I don't want to thank you for bringing Rod up, letting him come through and talk to us. I want to thank you for bringing every speaker that came here today. I want to thank you for having Brother Will do this program every Thursday. I want to thank you for the mentors that came through and helped us, for the food, and thank you for letting us pray all the time we do that. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Let's give God a round of